Hello, hello, my loves, and welcome to EQ with Jah. So I know this is not my normal setup. I don't have my natural lighting the way I prefer, and I have this ring light, and I don't know how to use it. So you're gonna get some overhead lighting today. So the video I wanted to talk about today is part of what I do with my life coaching is the career oracle. And what I do is I notice things that people need or don't notice they need, and I try to align them with the best people fit for the job or the best ideal candidate. For so long, we have lived in a world that was always trying to determine things that have to do with human beings' emotional intelligence, not just the logistics of how a business works, but the reason why you have service recovery and things of that nature and why clients get upset and all of that. It's because there's an emotional element to us humans that we have expectations. And if we're going to, again, hire for what we call degree based jobs, have some type of actual concrete proof that having a degree in a certain field means you're going to do well in any given field. You know what I mean? When you're scrolling through and you're like, all you need is a bachelor's degree. All you need is this. And I'm like, you need a bachelor's degree to like push a button? And unfortunately, this is how you get high turnover rates. Anytime I go into a company and I see that there's a rotating door of what I call the entry level employees, where anyone who comes in doesn't have they don't need any qualifications as far as doctorate or school or didactic setting, but it's fundamental to every human of how to kind of do basic things of using their body and husbandry and stuff like that. So a lot of the times you get people who are brilliant who couldn't afford these educations we say you need for these certain jobs that people have, who emotionally are not capable of handling these titles. And so then they make decisions based on, again, someone else's opinion of understanding. So now you have kids who come straight out of school. They have all of this information and knowledge about how this job works, but they still have what we call in the hospital world bedside care. If you don't have any bedside care, it's kind of irrelevant to the point of having a business, because you're going to always need to know how to take care of your customers and your employees, as well as your brand identity. And so for me, what I've come to tell people is, when you are looking for employees or you're trying to retain employees, especially entry level employees who may have the education or may have the abilities and the skills but have never had the time or money or privilege to go to higher education, or you get people who come from a background where they have plenty of financial backing, but they've never really experienced the world beyond what they've been taught. So when they come into these realms of, again, management and leadership roles, they collapse or they turn to what we call the corporate lingual or the corporate mindset, where they really don't care if they screw you over or if they let you go or if they find somebody else to replace you the very next day, because that's what that machine was built for. But if you are a company, again, may you be big or small, and you really care about retaining good employees, retaining a legacy, retaining a workforce that people feel validated and they feel like they're happy to come to work and spend majority of their time and lives benefiting your company. I always found the best companies had an education system built into what they do. May that be an in-house training where you get an in-house certification and then you can work for that brand specifically because you have it, or if you have some type of accreditation program associated with your field. I love this type of opportunity because it's what got me to where I am. I call it backdoor politics. At the end of the day, what I did was I would get these entry level jobs that I knew I could do, but I knew that I could do more, and I never tried to judge anyone or shame anyone. I came in, I did the work, I didn't try to make myself act better or nothing. I just did what I had to do. And then once I did that, the people who were there saw my ability and my skills and my emotionality of knowing how to connect with customers and understanding beyond the transaction not being what it needed to be, but understanding why the emotional intent that was applied to that transaction not going the way it could have gone. So when you see that in an employee, encourage them to want to find out what more they would love to do, or what roles they see themselves in. I used to get told in like interview classes, they'd be like, never tell the boss that you want to take their position. But I'm like, well, that's a built-in competition mindset right there. So therefore, that's always going to be some element of feeling like I need to accomplish something more for a title versus appreciating the task and the skills that I've learned how to use as tools versus weapons. So if you can you can make your own test, you can make your own type of industry test, you can find continuing education courses to recommend. But what this does is, especially if there's an incentive program, this gives employees who probably didn't give a crap about your industry or your company the ability to care about something, and then they want to put into your company because they see you're putting into them. If all you're doing is waiting for someone else to make you successful, you're going to always find failure in how you retain your employees. You have to be willing to see what works and what doesn't work for your industry. You can't be cookie cutter and copy everyone else's business and try to make it seem like this is the way business works. It's an old ideology of dog eat dog world. Well, that's only been created by people who were taught education is important. And it is important, but you get to a certain level of education where it becomes about your status. And this is why it's very important when I tell people, don't get so caught up in the status of your company and the status of your brand that you lose track of who's actually creating your brand and keeping it afloat, and who's the people who want to see your brand be successful and succeed. This is all very important in any business you do. Business ethics is a real thing that I feel doesn't get as much light shed on it as it should. But it's very important to me and my heart because I understand that in order for a business to run well, it has to care about the people that works for them. And if you don't, then you're going to create a element and environment of competition for those who really could do better but don't give a crap, and then the ones who want to appease you at any cost, even if it means self-sabotaging themselves and others just to show face per se, if that's what you want to say. And so this is why I always say, if you have the opportunity to create something where you're like, hey guys, we have this new position opening. Normally, based on our company, we've always asked for a degree, but now we have the opportunity to understand how this position and role really helps benefit our company. And so these are the people or the departments that we feel would be great for this position. Feel free to apply. There's no restrictions on the education thing. Let's just open it up so that we can see the people we want to retain and want to be here, who wants to be here, versus getting someone, what we always say, who's overqualified, and which still never made sense because I've been told that a lot. You're overqualified. But when I really looked at it from the business perspective, it was, you have more education and sense to know that the duties I'm giving you and the things and expectations connected to this wage, you're going to know you're worth more. And if you know you're worth more, you're going to leave this company, and I don't want to hire you. I want to hire people who don't know their worth. And that's a sad paradigm that we need to dismantle, dismiss, and get rid of. We want to encourage each other, encourage people to get more education, encourage people more hands-on training, encourage more employee one-on-ones where you get to ask an employee or ask somebody that you know their position or what they're doing, like how do they do it, how did they get into it. There's a lot of mentorship programs that I wish existed when I was younger, beyond, I was a big brother, big sister. That's an awesome program. There's a lot of different other things you can do to volunteer, but really seeing how important the emotional aspect of learning is and why it creates the world we want to exist in now. If I know that I feel confident and smart in the decisions I make, then I'm going to feel smart and confident in whatever job I take and whatever task you give me and whatever you put in front of me. I'm going to do it with free will, an open heart, and an open mind, because I see that it's going to benefit me. And if I see that you care about helping me grow, then I'm going to definitely invest more into your company. I'm going to invest more into your brand. I'm going to invest more into your identity. These are the people, my friends, sometimes we feel like walking commercials because there's certain brands that I'm like, oh my God, that was so good. They were so insightful, or they were so on point. They had every little detail down to this and this. And like when I can notice that and other adults notice that and my friends and people, this is the emotionality aspect connected to business. And so this is why it's important to understand, if you have the right people in the right seats, then you're going to have the right energy going towards the right people when they come into your door looking for a product or seeking some type of service that you provide. Because the right people are going to recognize instantly, they don't need this, they need this. They don't need to be told. That's the whole problem, is a lot of us, we get educated and think we have to go out and re-educate others. In my heart and mind, I've been told so much by other people, you talk so much and you educate so well that you should be a teacher. I never saw myself as that. So for me, I took it to heart and listened to people, because it really helped me find my life's path. That's why I'm encouraging everyone to find their passions and understand their functionality and understanding what that purpose means, because that's what got me to life coaching. That's what got me to wanting to do business consulting and helping people want to retain the jobs they have and work for companies that's going to help them grow. A lot of the times, unfortunately, you have to be honest. Yeah, you're not going to grow to stay. But if you grow to teach them well, then that person's going to refer you to another person who's looking for that in into the company, or in into the industry, or in into whatever that you need. This is how leading industries stay afloat. They keep recruiting. If you keep recruiting from places and people and friends and things that are connected to the same type of energy, this soul tribe we talk about, this soul connection, that's all connected to us wanting to be close to our purpose. And so when you work in certain industries, that's the functionality of your archetype. But your soul is like, this is who I am. I'm a scientist. Okay, well, that's a soul path. That's a soul tribe. And your purpose on this earth is to work collectively with your energy. But your energy is then has another passion, which is to either teach it back didactically or teach it back in a way by living through example. This is why every role is what it is, every title is what it should be, and why we should understand that if you really want to, again, build a business, retain a business, hold on to employees, start offering educational courses and trainings and things that will keep their mind expanding, so they don't start feeling like some minion or feeling like something that you can just throw away. And even if you did decide, maybe, I'll put some training into this person and emotionally they're not mature enough to hold this position, at least they saw you gave them the opportunity. At least now they can see what self-sabotage look like, and then they can walk away saying, you know what, I learned something. And now I know that this was never this position or this job or this industry. It was my acceptance of wanting to either be here or not. There's a lot of times I'm like, I hate this job. It's like, no, I don't hate this job. I don't hate where I am in life. I hate not knowing who I'm meant to be based on how much opportunity and how much skills and how much all of this I know it resides in me, how much I'm willing to give to someone who takes a chance on me. This is all of us out here in the world, all of us out here in America. If you start giving people the opportunity to show you what they love to do, you will start to retain and bring everything back to you. Everything you ever wish for a company, a business, an entrepreneur. It's always about, when you teach others how to grow, you will grow. There's nothing around getting around that, okay? If I show you how to water yourself, you're going to water yourself. And I'm going to water myself. And maybe one day I need water in it. And now that you know how to water yourself, and knowing that I watered you to get watered, you can water me. This is the cycle of life. This is how we help thy neighbor and help each other grow. Listen to your passion, which is always going to be the things you wake up and do daily naturally without thinking about it. This is how you start discovering the skill sets. When you know your passion, you're like, oh, I never knew I can do that. I can translate this over to this. It's a real thing when you can take one industry and then transfer those skills over to another industry, because you understand in your head, you can conceptualize these are basically one of the same, just a different brand, just a different face. That's how you start to make yourself marketable. That's how you start making yourself more what they call, can't think of the word right now, but retainable. We'll use that. But that's what it's all about. So if you want to build yourself, build your brand, and build opportunity, start providing more educational opportunities to those who really want to be there, and not those who just got it because of a title. All right. As always, I hope that made sense. I love you guys. Check me out on all my social media platforms as well as my website, eqwjah.org. It will be in my other place next time I record, but for now, you might get this once in a while. Besos. Mwah.